sight when she walked through that door. The most beautiful girl I'd ever seen before. Sea green eyes and long blonde hair, cool smooth smile and didn't have a care. I don't know why, but she walked my way. I was scared to death, but I was ready to play. Love at first sight sets the spirit free. I felt the dark clouds part, I heard the angels sing. My heart caught fire and my soul can fly. That's when I knew I had to make her mine. 2 days passed before I made that call. I was hoping for the best, but I was ready to fall. At 3 a.m. we were still on that phone. We both agreed that we were tired of being alone. Our first date led to our first kiss. I closed my eyes and tasted her sweet lips. Love's first touch sets the spirit free. I felt the dark clouds part, I heard the angels sing. My heart caught fire and my soul can fly. That's when I knew I had to make her mine. Hey, hello everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey. This is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans, where all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been, where you go. It just matters that you're here right now and you believe yourself to be a Middle American. Now, what do we consider? Well, a Middle is a mindset, because Middle Americans are what makes the country awesome. Everybody says that, hey, you have reached, if you can make it there into the middle class, you can make it anywhere. I know it's a stolen line from the Frank Sinatra song, New York, New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. But I'm going to claim that tonight for the Mickey in the Middle show, because tonight we're talking about freedom. And apparently, according to some, I should be able to do whatever the hell I want to do. The laws don't matter. Laws do not matter, because there's no illegal people on stolen land. Did you know that? And why do we have borders? And why can't people that want to change their gender go into spaces of the gender that they believe that they're in? Why do we limit the use of drugs? Why are all religions, anything that you want to believe, equal in the world? Are all religions equal? Well, it doesn't matter whether all religions are equal. It just matters that somebody believes in something, they call it a religion, and then that's equal to all the other religions in the world. Let's say that I want to worship nature. Is that the same as Christianity and Islam and Judaism? Judaism? Yeah, it's not named after somebody named Judy, by the way. All right, so let's start the show the way that we always do. Thanks a lot for everybody showing up. Let's get right down to the Constitution of the United States of America, and then we're going to talk about freedom. So we the people, this is, in this little booklet that I have right here, this little booklet I have that has Constitution of the United States of America in it, is very, very important, because a lot of our freedoms are outlined in the amendments to the Constitution. And the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protection Clause, very, very important. The First Amendment, very important. Second protection protects the First Amendment. There's other ones that are very important about your freedom and your person and your ability to not be looked at by the government all the way. Oh, yeah. Holy smokes. That's another one. I got to write down. They're watching you. Flock cameras. Flock cameras. They're watching. They are watching you. My pen stopped writing. All right. There we go. Here we go. So anyway, we're going to be talking about freedom tonight and believing in freedom. And the Constitution of the United States is very, very important in this conversation. And I wrote so many notes, I don't even know where to begin about freedom. But it's about the freedom BS that everybody is spouting online and being mean, because people are being unbelievably mean online. Free to be mean. I got to write that down. Free to be mean. I made a whole bunch of notes. I got all of these notes right here. I got all of these notes right here. I got 3 different notes that I wrote to myself in order to talk about this in the show tonight, because we are talking about freedom. All right, so let's go back to the Constitution of the United States of America, Article 1 shown right there. And then you are sharing the world with 8,290,000,000 other people. Are all of them equally free? That's a great question. And then we are 39,181,213,450,000 in debt. Isn't that the craziest thing? Holy smokes. We owe a lot of money. So the question is, in a later show, is money a registry and fake, or is money actually representing value? That's another show. All right, so let's talk about freedom. Why did this come up? I was watching a show. I don't know. I was watching a Facebook. Maybe it was a show. I can't remember. But some reason yesterday and today kind of flitted into my mind. I got a reminder somehow that there was a case that was settled last year called Olympus Spa versus somebody. And it was decided in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on the 29th of May, 2025. In that case, a pre-transitioning female, that means that it's a male who was born biological male that was transitioning to female but had not done any of the surgery. So that means that they had twigs and berries. Wanted to use a spa in, maybe I talked about this last week, wanted to use a spa in, named Olympus Spa in Washington. And the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals found that in the state of Washington, because the state of Washington has freedoms that are categorically related to gender, that the person that is transitioning, that still had male genitalia, could go into the spa, into the nude areas, and share a sauna space and hot tub space with born biological women that are down to 13 years of age. And the court said, yeah, they can go in there. Now, I don't know whether the spa closed. I don't know whether there was a legal settlement. I tried to find that out. I couldn't find enough information on it because everybody just wanted the transgender to win. It was all about transgenders' rights and the freedom of that transgender person. And that bothered me. And the reason why it bothered me is because we live in civilization. Now, in civilization, you got to understand that all civilizations have rules. If you have 2 people on a deserted island, you got to have some rules. The first rule that I always had, if I was on a deserted island with another person, was, hey, I don't beat you up and take your stuff, and you don't beat me up and take my stuff. If I go out there into the woods and I hunt and I gather and I have a bunch of food, that's my food. Beach all day, just wait until I come to the beach, and then you want to take my food. That's going to be unacceptable to me. But that's the way that it is in freedom. Because if there are no rules, then it reminds me of the situation I have on the pond right now. Because last week, somebody brought over some injured birds to my pond. And they threw the birds, they gently put the birds, these injured birds, they all had broken wings. 3 birds had broken wings. Very, very strange. I don't want to get into it. But anyway, 3 birds ended up on my pond. All 3 of them had broken wings. One of those birds subsequently died. I returned one of those birds to the original owner's pond who owned that bird. And then, surprisingly enough, another bird named I have subsequently named Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wiggles showed up and he had a broken wing, and I took him to the vet. So anyway, the vet said, hey, it's going to be $750. So anyway, Mr. Wiggles came back here. Everybody on that pond is free. So we have 2 Canadians that just had 6 baby Canadian birds that are on the pond. We have 2 Chinese white geese that are on the pond. And then we have 4 Cayuga ducks that are on the pond. And now we have Mr. Wiggles. The reason why this is important is because in the last 2 weeks, when the Canadian hen, goose, not the gander. When the goose was laying on the eggs, the 2 Chinese white geese swim too close, and the male gander Canadians swooped in, and a melee took place. So you have the goose and the gander of the Chinese whites, and then you had the goose and ganders of the Canadians. It was a terrific international affair happening on the pond behind my house. Why? Because the Canadians felt threatened that the Chinese got too close. And they went to war over it because that was freedom. And they were like, hey, I don't know whether this involves food, whether you're going to try to hurt my little eggs that the gander goose, the Canadian, was laying on. And it was a war. They were pulling feathers out. They were kicking, screaming, flapping, grabbing each other by the neck, dunking each other's heads underwater. It was a Canadian free-for-all, a Canadian and Chinese free-for-all. It was the craziest shit. Meanwhile, the 4 Cayugas, which are basically born and bred up in New York State and somehow managed to find their way to a Tractor Supply store in Arkansas, which I went and got 6 of them. Now we have down 4, but now we're at 66 2/3 Cayuga ducks. They were just sitting there watching the whole thing. But then, because Mr. Wiggles was there, they went after Mr. Wiggles, who is a mallard. So now I got the Cayugas and the mallards going at it, and the Canadians and the Chinese going at it on the pond. And that's what freedom is. You can do whatever you want. You can go search for food. You can swim around the pond. You can walk around. You can go fly. You can go do whatever you want if you're free. You can also get beat up. You can also go beat up somebody. You can steal somebody else's food. You can go at mass chaos and mass confusion on the pond because everybody's free. Now, when the raccoons get involved, the raccoons come up and they try to eat all the ducks and all the geese. Because we have 3 raccoons that hang out at my house too. That means that the raccoons are also free. So they're scavengers and they're out looking for food, and food are duck and goose eggs and ducks and geese. Primarily the little ones, but sometimes the big ones too. That's freedom, everybody. That's freedom. That's the ultimate exercise of freedom. That if you don't establish rules, all of a sudden, everything goes to hell in a handbasket and everything is possible. So you want food, go take somebody else's food. You don't like them, you don't like the way they look at you, you can go kill them. You go beat them up. You can intimidate them. You can take their space. You can take their kids. You can kill their kids. But in polite society, now all of a sudden, we have decided, because we're smarter than everybody else, that freedom reigns. But we have to have rules because we have to live in society. And we know, based on the historical events that have happened to us over the millennia, that cultures that are totally free, it's totally chaos, it's anarchy, it's crazy. And then all of a sudden, whoever is the strongest wins. That's why we have kings and queens and khans and emperors and empresses, whoever, right? So Cleopatra and Caesar and Genghis Khan and Napoleon, all of the conquerors in Rome, all the Caesars, all the emperors in Japan and in China, whoever was the strongest won. But we matured past all of that. And we said, hey, look here. England was the first real country to say, hey, look here. We are going to get rid of our monarchies and our kings and our queens, and we're going to have a parliament where the people have a say in what's going on. So England took the lead. But England did that much after the United States was born. Because the United States was born, King George was in charge, and he was keeping the United States under their boot. He was a tyrant. He was an evil person, and he was keeping the United States, the colonies, under the heel of his boot, stepping on their neck. It's freedom. It's freedom is all that the people wanted. So they decided to send a letter of Declaration of Independence and say, hey, look here, man, we're not doing it your no way. We're gonna fight you, and we're gonna declare our independence, and we're gonna make our own rules. We're gonna make our own rules because we don't like your rules. So is anybody really free? If you live in society, you're not free. We have to establish rules that say that what rules we're going to live on. There is not chaos. All of this, you're free, is bullshit. You're only as free as the government allows you to be free. Not all things are like murder. It could be free. They're doing that on the pond. When a fish eats another fish, the one fish that's eating is not the one being oppressed, but the one being eaten definitely is being oppressed. That is species on species genocide. So a bass eats a bass. A guppy, well, I guess you had to be bigger. A shark eats a dolphin. An orca eats tuna. See that? It's species genocide. We've decided because we're civilized that we got to come up with some rules. And I understand everybody that's out there that says, hey, look here, freedom reigns and we're all free. It's stolen land. People are free. There's no free people on stolen land. I understand that you want freedom. The problem is we have a set of rules. In the rules, the United States of America was smart enough to establish a contract with the people that lived there that said, we are going to guarantee you some rights that ensure your freedom, your limited freedom. Because you got to remember, we're not free to do anything that we want. We can't go and dump toxins in rivers. We can't go start massive fires. We can't go kill our neighbors. We can't go and sell drugs. We can't go and rob people. We can't do all of the bad things that are out there. We're not free. We're not free. And what we did is we established borders. So we have a federal government that said a couple of things. Number one, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, freedom to redress grievances, freedom to keep and bear arms, freedom to not have the government go through your stuff, free to not self-incriminate, free in order to have representation, free to sue each other in civil court and over that stuff. And the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, which is now my favorite, says that just because the freedoms that were mentioned in 1 through 9 don't cover everything, other things may also be considered freedoms that the people of the United States can exercise. Or is that the 9th? Not the 9th or the 10th? Hold on just a second. I got it marked. 9th. Oh, I'm sorry. The 9th Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. The Ninth Amendment is my favorite because it says not only are the freedoms elicited inside of the constitutional amendments in 1 through 8 are freedoms guaranteed by the constitutional amendments, but also you may have other rights. 10 then says that what is not specifically designated to the federal government by the states is retained by the states. Why is that important? Because the states are saying, hey, look here, gender, which is not covered in the federal government, gender's not a civil rights category in the federal government. But in Washington state, it is. That means that Washington gets to establish a border for their people and then say everybody that's living underneath the rules of Washington have to live with this. That means that the Chinese spa has to live under the rules of Washington state. That means that the Chinese spa owner was wrong. Does everybody understand that? Because gender is a civil right in the state of Washington, Washington state made that. Now in Arkansas, we don't have that same civil right in the state of Arkansas. Now everybody in Washington can now move to Arkansas. Don't. We're full. We got an okay state. Everybody's missing teeth and we're very, very hillbilly. We eat cornbread and chicken's feet. And there's nothing better than a peppered up chicken beak. So chicken feet, chicken beak. Don't come to Arkansas. I appreciate the effort. Here's why this is important. We don't live in a free society. We have certain freedoms, but it's not all encompassing. But what we're doing to each other over these freedoms is absolutely crazy. If you want total freedom and you say, hey, we don't need to have borders, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The people that are in Pakistan and Iraq and Iran and Saudi Arabia and Germany and Russia and China, they have a whole different idea of what it means to be a citizen. And none of it involves any of the amendments to the Constitution, which means that you get to say something, right? That means that you get to worship the way that you want to or assemble with any of your people. See, the freedoms of the people in China are way different than the freedoms that we have here. The same thing with religion. That's why in the United States of America, we can't have religion in government because we cannot have the government imposing the rules of a religion on everybody because your freedom is guaranteed. But if you open up the borders and you say, hey, we shouldn't have any borders, that means that what's going on in Arkansas needs to be applied up in Washington, or what's going on in Washington needs to be applied in Arkansas. I don't want to live under Mayor Mondami up in New York. That guy wants to take everybody's money. When he can't get the millionaires' money, he's going to come after you and me. I don't want to live under the rules of California. No cars, no gas-powered cars by the year 2030? That's insane. They don't even have enough electricity now. Arkansas, we're doing good. We don't need any more people here, but here's what the deal is. I don't want to live under those rules. I want to choose the rules in which I live under. But now it's become very, very fashionable to yell at people for their choices. So if you support the war in Iraq because you believe it's a tyrannical government, they oppress their people, that they had the potential to build a nuclear bomb because they're just bad and they're theologically funding terrorism around the world. If you say that the war is good, everybody that thinks the war is bad attacks you online over and over and over and over and over. They don't like Trump. That means that nothing that Trump does, I'm not a fan of Trump. I only look at policies. But automatically, they immediately go to Trump is a rapist, pedophile, maniac, megalomaniac, crazy son of a bitch, We have to be opposed to anything that he wants to do, even if it will help the people in the country. And they won't get over it. Oh my God, the shit they send me is unbelievable. Just please stop with your freedom. Iranian people are being oppressed by the United States of America. Yeah, because you're fucking nuclear wanting terrorist son of a bitches. I don't want their ideology. I don't want their ideals of their religious fervor and their religious government coming to the United States or having anything to do with it. I don't want them to be able to threaten me. I like our borders. I don't want anybody coming across our borders that's not vetted. I don't want to have illicit drugs coming through the borders. I don't want the sexual assault of all the people that are coming across the borders. I don't want all the situations that we have in the United States as far as crime is concerned, as far as illegal immigrants are concerned. I'm a very conservative thinking person when it comes to the rules of how we established our nation. I'm very conservative about that. I like the ability to say whatever I want to say. It's not hate speech. And the people that write me, and no freedom for me, and no freedom for me. Because if that's the way, if we're going to go there, you're going to find some people that are very, very resistant to that idea. And the next thing you know is we're going to be has to have rules so that society can have some type of an anchor on what they believe in. The Constitution of the United States establishes 3 houses. The first article goes to the legislature, the second goes to the presidents, the third goes to the legislative branch. The other articles in the Constitution of the United States are about how to run the government, about who can declare war, about how we do the treasury, how do we do taxation, how do we do the organization of the government. But the freedoms established in the constitutional amendments are critical because those freedoms apply to all of us across the board. We need to get rid of the Constitution. It's a common theme. Yo, you dumbass. That's the only thing is protecting you and allowing you to say whatever the fuck you want to say. Pardon my language. It's the only thing that gives you the right to not be thrown in jail for what you say or what anybody else says is the Constitution of the United States and the First Amendment. The fact that you can practice a religion or not practice a religion and the government can't have a religion under any circumstances, thanks to the First Amendment and to the 14th Amendment, as established by the courts, that says that at no level of government will establish a religion, is the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment as been interpreted by the court systems. That's why we don't have religion in schools. Anything else we have as human beings on this planet is we have the protections of a government saying that you have certain freedoms, because in any other circumstance, you don't have any freedom. You have negotiation by force. If you are the weaker of the two in any negotiation, you are going to get your ass kicked. Go ask the geese and the ducks out on my pond. I don't want to hear any bullshit about freedom to cross the border, freedom to be a transgender person, freedom to bring your male genitalia into a spa with 13-year-old girls. That's illegal already. It's illegal to expose your private parts to another person. You just can't walk around naked in the United States of America. Maybe in Washington you can, but you can't do it in Arkansas. And I'm glad that we have those rules and regulations. I'm glad that we're not allowed to kill each other. I'm glad we're not allowed to rob each other. I'm glad that we have borders. I'm glad that we're not allowed to have total illicit sex rings and drug rings and whatever the heck else is going on in the mafia and in gangs or in any other sort. I'm glad we have rules and we have regulations, and not everything is equivalent. Not everything has the same moral. It's the law. We have 51 societies plus the territories. Sorry about that. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and the Marianas, and I'm always forgetting one. Listen, we have 50 little societies in the United States of America called states. Oh, Washington, D.C. is one, and American Samoa is another one. Those little societies all have rules as well. They all have borders as well. So the United States has a border, the states have borders, the counties have borders, the cities have borders. All of those are controlled, and they're not free in there. You have limited freedoms. So don't be an asshole when you are exercising your freedom and telling me about my freedoms. Just don't do it. That makes you an asshole. Over and over and over. Oh my God. I'm exercising my freedom. Oh my God. You're just narcissistic. And I know I get narcissistic sometimes. I don't want to give people my opinion. I give people my opinion on this all the time. But number one, I'm nice about it. I'm not a dick. I don't think I'm a dick. Am I a dick? Maybe I'm a dick. Independence or Green Party or whatever. Everybody out there is just getting along. Independence or Green Party or whatever. Everybody out there is just getting along. If you see a MAGA hat, let it go. If you see a I hate Trump shirt, let it go. That's people expressing their freedom of expression, their freedom of speech. Just go look at that person. I'm proud of you. You're expressing your opinion in a peaceful manner. Don't attack people. When you put out a political post, be nice about it. Look, I understand that you think that Trump is a pedophile. Okay, I got it. I got it the first time you said it. I got it the 100th time you said it. I get it the 1,000th time you said it. Now what? Now what? You don't need to tell me again. I know that you think he's a pedophile and a rapist. That he's bombing Iran for no reason. That he's a narcissistic, boneheaded son of a bitch and should never have been president. Now what? How about if we respect each other? How about if we respect each other's freedoms? How about if we embrace the United States of America and the little freedom that we have and just go, I am proud of you for expressing yourself the way that you want to, but can you be a little nicer about it? Yeah, you have the right to be as free as you want to be. You can just write whatever you want. You can do religion the way that you want. You can gather with all the people you want to gather with. You can do all of this stuff that's guaranteed by the constitutional amendments to the United States Constitution. God, don't stop being a dick to your fellow humans. We have very limited freedom. If you start accusing them and you start causing war and you start causing all this tension, we don't need that shit. We just don't need that shit. So stop with the fucking freedom BS. All right, I'm done. That's my rant for today. Remember, like, share, hit the notification bell. Hey, by the way, if you follow me on Facebook, you can hit that little follow me thing and you can get the highlights, you can get the reels, you can get the notifications wherever I come up. I just found that out. So yeah, like, share, hit the notification bell. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central. Most Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central, wherever I am, wherever you are. You guys be good. My name is Mickey's Blade. Loved hanging out with you for a while. Take care. Love you. Peace. Sight when she walked through that door, the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen before. Sea green eyes and long blonde hair, cool smooth smile and didn't have a care. I don't know why, but she walked my way. I was scared to death, but I was ready to play.
Love at first sight sets the spirit free. I felt the dark clouds part, I heard the angels sing. My heart caught fire and my soul can fly. That's when I knew I had to make her